Hello, BookTube. It's a Saturday, Labor Day weekend, so 3-day weekend. Pretty day here in Vermont, so we decided to go out for a bit. Before I left, I watched a booktuber announce a new readathon for September. Paperback Junkie, Matt Wall. And it was a good one, so I wanted to get to that here after I got to the Friday reads and a little bit of a book haul. And the funny thing is, the Friday reads has a relationship with Matt Wall and some of the things he's reading, and with Todd the librarian. And the book haul has a connection, though he doesn't know it, to Matt Wall, Paperback Junkie. And then, of course, the Pentathon, the read-along for September, is Matt's invention. So, bit of a theme here. So for Friday reads, the reason I say it has a bit of a connection with Matt over at Paperback Junkie is because we both, for some reason, are reading the same thing this weekend. And for me, and for him, it's John D. MacDonald, One Fearful Yellow Eye. It's McGee number 8. It's right there. Started reading it yesterday. I'm a bit into it. I enjoy it so far. I have not read a lot of John D. MacDonald's Travis McGee in years. Used to be you couldn't go to a drugstore or a little neighborhood market without a rack of there, turquoise lament, empty copper sea. He had that sort of theme with colors going through. So One Fearful Yellow Eye. Don't even remember reading it. I'm sure I did. I think I probably read all of his, maybe more than once. So, good read there. And then, those of you who watch Todd the Librarian know that for his tags, he tends to keep bringing out the same book, or at least it makes its appearance on a regular basis. And I'm always on the lookout for it. And I've never read it, though I've read the author many times, and I enjoy him. Alan Dean Foster. So many of you have guessed what it is. It's Midworld. And as you can see, I ended up having to get it out of the library, and not even my own library, but an interlibrary loan. And I'm really looking forward to reading this. Those of you who are Star Trek fans will know that Alan Dean Foster did the Star Trek log books, which are right. How do I do this? Oh, they're back that way somewhere, right above my finger. They're the animated series. He did the write-ups for those. So yeah, Midworld, Alan Dean Foster. I'm really looking forward to this. Hope to get it done this weekend. I did talk to a few people when they saw that I got it, and they knew it and seemed to like it as much as Todd did, so that's a good sign. And then the other bit of weekend reading, I've read the first 2 chapters of Brewster's Millions, Steve Donohue's jury duty read-along, and I'm enjoying it so far. I'm not quite what I expected, but we'll see. And we're discussing it, or everybody else is back and forth on Voxer, but I'm a bit of I'm not a technophobe. I have to have technology in my work, but when I get on a new program like that, I'm a little slower than most. So, but I'll get up to speed, and I'll be, as Steve says, one of the cool kids. So right now I'm drinking, because I went out today, Old Rasputin, North Coast Brewing Company. It is a Russian Imperial Stout. I tend to save stouts for the fall and winter, but because it's Labor Day weekend, I'm enjoying this. And I really, really do like the Imperial Stouts. So, the Russian. So, let's get to the Pentathon. So, Matt describes the Pentathon as the easiest flippin' readathon of all time. so we'll have to see. He did a Pentathon because there's 5 weekends in September. And he wants to make us read what he likes so he has someone to talk to, which I love. It's a great idea. So, Matt, here it goes. Number 1, read something by Edgar Rice Burroughs. So before I get into what I'm going to read by Edgar Rice Burroughs, I'm going to show you a Matt Wall-inspired book haul. And I went out today and I got all of these for $1 a piece at a thrift store in Bridgewater, Vermont. And I got it after I had seen his Pentathon video. So we have here Edgar Rice Burroughs' The Moon Maid with that lovely cover. And we have another Frazetta cover here, and this is The Moon Men. And keep on with the covers here. This is Lost on Venus. This is Escape on Venus. Excellent, excellent shape here, with one exception. This is The Wizard of Venus and Pirate Blood. And then we have Carson of Venus. So you can imagine for $1 a piece, I was pretty thrilled. So my wife and I switched off who was driving so I could sit there and admire my finds. And when I went back to look at this lovely volume, The Moon Maid, I noticed, I don't know if you can see them here, little pinhole things. So I opened the book up, I don't know what it was that got it, but it got it. So I lost $1 on this one, and I will look for it elsewhere. But so for $6, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books, Ace, with lovely covers, and I was quite happy to add them to my collection. I have the black covered Tarzan, and I have quite a few other Edgar Rice Burroughs collections, John Carter of Mars and stuff. I don't really have the Venus stories, and I read them 30 years ago. So, read something by ERB. I am not going to read these because I would like to read them in order, and the first in the Venus series is The Pirates of Venus, and I don't have it, though I will look for it. So I thought I'd reread in this volume, Under the Moons of Mars, an old science fiction book club collection. I have multiple volumes of this that collects all of the John Carter of Mars books. These are edited with an introduction by James P. Hogan, a science fiction writer many of you will know, with illustrations by Scott Beechler, excuse me, and they were done by the University of Nebraska Press. So here's, and the book is, the one I'm going to read is The Princess of Mars, a reread, so just redo the series. And that's a quick read. And then number 2 is read something by H.P. Lovecraft. So for this, I went to this Dark Imaginings, a collection of Gothic fantasy, edited by Robert H. Boyer and Kenneth Zrahorsky, I believe is how you say it. Zrahorsky, excuse me. Dell Publishing Company, and this came out in, let's see, 1978. An anthology, and I'm going to read The Haunters of the Dark. The Haunter of the Dark is unquestionably one of Lovecraft's finest creative efforts. The narrative structure is nearly flawless, the characterization is solid, and the atmosphere is appropriately heavy with evil foreboding. Of all the stories included in this volume, none displays a better handling of Gothic paraphernalia. The crumbling church and the spectral hump of Federal Hill, the ancient books of black magic, the moldering skeleton, the haunter of the dark itself, all combine to create a Gothic ambiance of the first order. In sum, the Hunter of the Dark is not only one of Lovecraft's most horrific and suspenseful tales of terror, but it is one of his best stories involving the unique Cthulhu mythos. So that will be the H.P. Lovecraft. Then read something by Robert E. Howard. So I thought, what could be more appropriate than an anthology from Weird Tales? This one's edited by Marvin Kaye. This came out in Doubleday Book and Music Clubs, Incorporated, Garden City, New York. Came out in 1988. And I'm going to read Skulls in the Stars. Oh, let me get that out of the way for you. Robert E. Howard, 1906 to 1936, was one of the most popular of all Weird Tales authors. His Conan stories helped establish a considerable cult of Howard fans, a cult still growing thanks to the recent Conan film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. By the time he died at the tragic early age of 30, Howard had written 55 stories for Weird Tales, including the Solomon Kane adventure Skulls in the Stars, which appeared in the January 1929 issue. So I'll be reading Skulls in the Stars, Solomon Kane. So the next week, we're supposed to read something hard-boiled or noirish. And for that, I went to this World of Mystery Fiction by Elliot L. Gilbert. And it's Dashiell Hammett, The House in Turk Street. And let me see here where they said. The House in Turk Street, originally published in the April 15th, 1924 issue of Black Mask, was reprinted first by Ellery Queen in Hammett Homicides in 1947, and later in The Continental Op, New York Random House, 1974. A selection of stories edited and with an introduction by Stephen Marcus. Also see The Big Kick Knockover, New York Random House, 1966. A collection edited by Lillian Hellman. Joe Gore's novel Hammett, recreating Hammett's early years as writer in San Francisco and City of San Francisco magazine, largely devoted to Hammett stories, whatever that means. So this is a 1924 story, and it's a Continental Op story, The House in Turk Street. So for the hard-boiled or noirish, that's the one. And then finally, the fifth weekend, read a comic book. And for that, I'm going to read Batman Black and White. And has an introduction here by Mark Chiarello. And just give you a feel for what it looks like. I'm looking forward to this. I've heard some good things about it, but I have not read it. So, that's, let's see what you call it. Well, it's the Pentathon for sure, and I'll link Matt's announcement video down below. It's Friday Reads. It's a bit of a book haul with one disappointment, a chewed up volume. And thank you, BookTube.